Hey y'all, what's up? Big Wooly here, and welcome back to another episode of our FTB Skies Expert Let's Play. So we're standing in front of this monstrosity that we made, 25 episodes ago or so, because we needed some of the gas that was being produced here, and I didn't want to start recording until I figured out how I was going to get that gas accessible. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so before the fart jokes ensue and we start talking about gas, let's turn in the arcane sands. I got another loot bee. I got enough. We're going to leave those loot bees on and chase them because we're going to need another ton of those essence for a later overpowered quest, and I want to make sure we have them when the time comes. But for right now, there we have it. We now have a creative mana cell, which we can throw into our AE2, and it basically means we've got mana all the time whenever we need it. We don't need the 256. We can use that as a portable one, but now accessible anywhere on an export bus or for crafting recipes or whatever is unlimited mana. Let's go. All right, so speaking of let's go, back to where we left off the end of last episode. So we got the trio of machines made that are going to allow us to make our lead crystals, which we can then refine into uranium crystals. So let's get started on it. What we did here was, I have no idea if there's any method to store gases in a manner like drawers or whatever else, but I did discover that if you slap an external storage bus, or an ME storage bus, sorry, you can tell I'm a refined guy, I'm calling them external storage. If you slap a storage bus on to a chemical tank, it will make the whatever's in there accessible from your storage. So I made an ultimate, which holds a lot of this sulfuric acid, put it in between our tanks here where we're making the sulfuric acid, which are the liquid sulfuric that gets used for TNT. And that way it'll just build a buffer of it in between here, and we can grab it in the storage where we're going to need it in a few minutes today. So let's take a look at this process together. So this process starts, we're trying to make a lead crystal. Easiest way to work these, break them down, is walk it back. So we need clean lead slurry, we need dirty lead slurry, and then we get the dirty lead slurry from, we're going to be using raw lead into a chemical dissolution chamber with sulfuric acid. So we're going to need an export bus, and it's going to need to be able to export the sulfuric acid and the raw lead into a chemical dissolution chamber as step one. Now, at the end of this, we're making crystals, not fluids, so I think we're going to put it over here on this line. How many channels we got left? We're at 19 out of 32, so we got plenty of channels for this. We're going to run into that, but we'll see. We're on the magenta line. Grab out some magenta. Magenta. We're going to need some regular smart cable magenta. Let's get that going. Smart. I should put all the colors in here, but we don't have a good source of the dyes yet either, so there we go. 5 should get us there, hopefully. How many channels are on here? 4 of 8, so we could use some more off of here. So we're just going to come right here, and we're going to go into the chemical dissolution chamber. This one's one of those ones that's, is it sided? Let's see. Chemical dissolution, no. Okay, we can use whatever side we want. So we're just going to start by clearing the sides. Oh, that was lit up. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. And then pigmentize. We're going to clear all of them. Everything's got nothing. So the top, we're going to be able to input items, and the top, we're also going to be able to input gases. All right, so we're going to walk that back a little. I was getting ahead of myself on the process. All we're going to be exporting into this machine from the top is the sulfuric acid and the raw lead. It's going to be outputting our slurry, which goes into the chemical washer, I do believe. Is that right? Uses, yeah. And we're going to need water and the slurry. So we're going to need to bring in water from somewhere. We can bring it in probably through our storage system to the top. So we will need another export bus for that. And it's going to go right there. And then we will be putting the clean slurry into our chemical crystallizer here on the end. And we will be bringing that back into the system. Why do I have this super slow pickaxe in my hand? All right. Do I have ultimate universals in my bag yet? No, but they are craftable. Yeah, make me 30. Cool. All right, I'll take the 4 because that'll get us up and running, and then we'll have some for later. So there we have it. We've got power provided to all of those machines. And we're going to need another export bus for water, which we may decide to bring in with an ender tank if it seems like it's too slow, but we'll just play that by ear. So on the top of this one, which we've already set up, we're going to need a capacity card so that we can export more than one thing. And you are going to export sulfuric acid, and raw lead. And then somebody was saying that there's scheduling mode, round robin. There we go. And now it should alternate between the two. Thank you, whoever that was. That was another one of those great comments. Now we're going to see our dirty lead slurry start to come into our chemical washer, and it is going to need to have some interfaces configured too. Items it doesn't get on any face, so we'll clear those. Slurries, it gets, we're going to clear all, and it gets input on the left. And then fluids, we're going to clear all, and it's going to get those from the top. And then slurries, we need to go back and tell it it's going to output its slurry to the right. So now that has all of those interfaces taken care of. The last thing we need to do is get water being exported into here. Water. So then if we grab our water, and there we go. Now, looks like we're going to need some acceleration cards. So let's grab those out. And let's see if that keeps up. Oh yeah, that keeps up. And you don't seem to be having a problem keeping up. And then now we can see our chemical crystallizer is gonna make the lead crystals. Let's take one out, put it in our inventory in case there's a quest for it. Now, where do we go from the lead crystals? So the lead crystals go into an advanced mixer with all of these other stuffs to make a uranium crystal. Looks like we're gonna need to be able to export a couple of things. That does mean that since this worked here, we should be able to go back and change one of those other setups, which was where they mentioned, I saw this comment about using the round robin mode on the export bus. Thank you, by the way. I mean, you guys are great. I don't know how many more times to say it. So now we want to put this into a drawer. I think we are in range of our drawer controller, but we will see. So let's grab out a drawer. Just a plain spruce one's fine. What do you have in you? Blackstone? Well, we don't need drawers full of blackstone just sitting in storage, so we'll do that. And then we can toss the blackstone in. Then we'll grab this. And it can go right here. We'll make sure it's got nothing on it. And then we're going to go in here and we're going to tell you that you can clear all your sides for items and you can output to the right, auto eject on. Sweet. Now let's tie this in. Linking tool. Let's see if we can reach this controller. Wrong way. We're on add. Oh no, it's out of range. Okay. Oh, but you might be in range of this one. put it back on single. No, it's out of range of both. Okay. All right, well, we'll figure that out later. We'll figure out if we even need access to these from the system or if we're just going to set up this next piece right here. I think we might just set it up right here on this magenta line and we can pull those items out of there however we need to. So give me a minute to take a look at where we're going to set up this advanced mixer, and I will gather the mixer and what we need, and we'll proceed on. All right, y'all, so we're going to start a fresh P2P row for this next operation because we have some channels left here on the magenta, but there's room back here in the back to tie something else in on this line, and I don't want to, you know, stretch it out, so we're just going to make another row here. So we're going to do the usual, and we will put down the P2P tunnel, and since it can't face inward on the main line here, it'll face the other way. But we're going to go one more block over right there. And then I made us up some light blue dense cable to go with our theme of different colors to help us remember what's connected to which section. So now that we have this, I grabbed a memory card. Let's go ahead and toss our block and our item frame up here. And let's go grab some P2P frequencies. Let's see. P2P tunnels. Those are... Oh, got one more. Sweet. So there we have it. Now we've got a fresh 32 channels to work with for this next operation. So in the next operation, let's take a look at it. To get our uranium crystals, we're going to be doing it in an advanced mixer. And this looks a little complicated, sort of is, but isn't. I have discovered something we're going to have to work on. I've said it a bunch of times, but we've just never gotten around to doing it. We are going to have to speed up our power setup, because right now it's just taking forever to get the FE into these things to make our conversions. And I went ahead and requested 100 of the flux infused gems because we need those for the next process, but it still hasn't finished them. So we're only on basic. There is a bunch more tiers of these energizing rods we can go through that will be able to get the power into the items faster. So that's going to have to be a future episode. But for right now, we need advanced mixers. They should be here in the backpack. We're going to pull one out and let's just get it going. Where are we going to be? Right there, right here. All right, so in this advanced mixer, now comes the time to bring this all together. We're going to need to pull down some export buses, or at least one export bus. Did I miss? I totally missed. Oh, I forgot. This is why I end up with the pickaxe in my hand, because these blocks break with a pickaxe, not with the paxel, for whatever reason. So there we go. Now let's grab our export buses, which I'm still waiting on crafts of more of them, but that's because these require stuff from the energizing setup, and it's waiting on it to finish the 100 craft first. So there is our import bus, or export bus. We're going to need that capacity card in it, which I requested, so we should have like 10 now. So we'll toss this capacity card in, and it's going to need Ultra Mafic, Lava, and Liquid Elemental Earth. Liquid Elemental Earth. And then we're going to tell this to round robin. And hopefully that gets... Yep, there we go. So long as neither of those two fluids run out, round robin should work for our purposes. And then we're going to need to tell it that it can also export flux infused gems and lead crystals, right? And that should, once we give this power, get us everything we need. So we're going to go, same thing we've been doing. We're going to toss a flux point under here. That way we can just carry power for this section off of this flux point to where we need it to go. Bypass limit. Doesn't need chunk loading. Put it on our network. And away we go. It's making noises. Oh, yep, there's our progress. Woo, it's slow. Look at it. But there we have it. So that is going to eventually produce our lead crystal. 3,600 ticks. Oh my goodness. So 20 ticks is a second. Wowzers. It's 3 minutes per craft. Can we time in a bottle? Temporal pouch. Yes, we can. And there we go. Our first uranium crystal. Hope you guys were able to follow that. That was a doozy getting through all of those parts. Now let's go take a look at where that puts us on the next one. It's going to give us a bunch of uranium ingots. It says uranium can be blah, blah, blah. The process is slow and power consuming at first, but once you have access to the microfusion extrapolator, you can greatly speed up the process. So thankfully, we won't be waiting 3 minutes per crystal in the future. It will get faster for us. But here we have it. That's got everything we need. And it should be just fine to keep making them indefinitely. So we probably want to put a drawer here to hold these, and then we can tie them into the controller. Oh, that was another thing I needed to show you guys. Let's grab a drawer. We're going to take this 2000 Blackstone out and stuff it in the storage. Just to, you know, get down on the stuff that we don't need sitting around. This was when I thought I was going to make this base out of Blackstone, but I didn't. So we're going to put you right there, and then we're going to tell that the output, we're going to clear all these other sides. I wish there was a clear all button. Auto output enabled. And then let's grab out our tools. We're going to lock it to those. And then all I did to make this reach for our lead crystals so that they're accessible and we can export them into here is instead of having the storage controller right on top of that drawer, I stuck it right on top of the line for the lime color here, which I still need to replace this cable going back with lime. But I stuck it right here, and that moved it close enough for us to reach that drawer and still reach this drawer. And now we'll also be able to reach this one. So now we have our uranium crystals tied in to our storage and accessible and being automatically made. It will stop at 2,000. 2,000 may seem like a lot of those to want to hold. However, when you get into mechanism, which we're going to have to, and we get into all the nuclear stuff, uranium goes fast. So we want this working on getting us as much uranium as we possibly can stockpiled so that when we get to those next steps, we have the inventory to do the thing. All right, so now that we've done that, are we moving into the RTG generator today? I don't think so. I think we've got stuff, other things that we're going to need to get to. Let's see. Weak radiation, lead. Yeah, okay. So we're going to have to learn to make liquid concrete, which isn't too bad. It's just an advanced mixer recipe. Yeah, so we definitely are going to need to get into that stuff. But let's go take a look at power. See if we can't make this station here better. Oh, Loot B, where is it? Backpack, give me a flower. Give me the lead. Let's go. Where's the Loot B? He's this way. No, he's behind us. He's over here. Oh, he's inside. Nice. Come here, bud. Put that in our offhand. Put you on a lead. And then now, you should drop your drops, like, right for me. Give me the drops. Give me the good stuff. That God-Forged Pearl is what we need. Aha! One God-Forged Pearl. Nice. All right, so now we grab out a bee cage. And we humanely dispose of, stuff this guy in a chest. Sorry for that distraction. Back to power, which we can look at up here. So let's get right here, and then we're going to go to at power. And we want to look at the next here. So for the Energizer rod hardened, we're going to need hardened capacitors, which are made from energized steel, which we have made a recipe for, and dielectric paste, which we have not addressed. We need to be able to make the we can make the flux infused copper, but then we're going to need to be able to take the kerosene and turn it into the dielectric paste in a fluid encapsulator, which we have a fluid encapsulator that we can use for that. We just don't have the kerosene tied into storage. So let's come find our fluid encapsulator, and we're going to put the dielectric paste right there, but we're going to need to get the kerosene, which is right here, that we have 200 and something, almost a full thing. We need to get it in a drawer. So let's do our usual shuffle. And we're going to go with the linking tool, get it on this controller, swap it to remove, take this drawer off, unlock it, fill it with kerosene, lock it, switch to add, and relink it. There we go. So now we have our kerosene accessible to our AE2, and we should be able to request dielectric paste. There we go. So the storage can make it as we need it. That is going to be crucial. It can also make the energized steel as we need it. So let's tell it how to make the hardened capacitor. Wait, in this one, tell it how to make the hardened capacitor. We're going to need to tell it how to make, the hardened rod and the hardened capacitors. And you don't know how to make those? How do you not know how to make those? Basic capacitor large. Okay. So that is the 3 recipes. All of those are just plain Jane crafts. And then we're going to request them and see if it makes one. And if it does, hooray. There we have it. So now the tricky part is going to be, we can start swapping these out for the rods that are out here, but I don't know if the system is going to actually recognize and pull these, because these are going to have a charge in them still. So we want to get this hardened one right there. And then can I take, well, we don't want to take too many. Let's take 2. Oh God, I just broke a machine. And now I have extra gelled toluene in my inventory. Great. Good, great, grand, wonderful. Okay. Let's stuff all these in storage and see if the crafting recipe attempts to use them. So hardened. It shows that it's got one available. Okay. It took from it. So let's go ahead and tell it to make 5 more. All right, and there's 1 back, and as they come back, we will put them out here to keep the process faster and faster. And then we're going to need to do this a couple times, because this is just step 1 for getting our power set up where it needs to go. Now, we may not have to use all of them. As you can see, this is doing the 30K pretty quick with just those. But we'll see. Okay, and then we could use 1 more, which probably can reach from right here. It's fine. Actually, let's just keep that one, because we'll use it to start the next chain of crafts in our storage. So let's go take a look at what the next tier requires. This is how a lot of stuff in Power is. It's very nested, so you're going to have to, automate it through, like, as you go. But it's just, it's one of those things you get used to. So we're going to need not blazing. We want to go from hardened. I guess blazing is next. Yes. Okay, blazing is next. Let's come to our recipes. Blazing. So we're going to tell it how to make the blazing, and then we're going to come in here, and it needs to know how to make the blazing capacitors. And then it also needs to know how to make those blazing crystals. And that is going to be a fun chase the rabbit that we've not been down. So this is an energizer pattern. And then, oh, it's an imbuement chamber recipe. Interesting. How are we going to do that? Because the imbuement chamber, unless it's getting fed source, is not very fast. Are we going to set this up on a drawer? Wow. All right, we may stop at hardened because I don't think we have enough time left in an episode today to get through setting up the mage bloom, getting it through the crusher spirit, because that's the only way to make it. So we're going to have to use a crusher to crush it. Yeah. Okay. So that's going to have to be one for next time. All right, y'all. So to wrap things up, there's a quest we could have done a long time ago, but haven't. And that is bucket of ultramafic lava. And that unblocks all, like, first 3 of our way to headed to Glacio. Glacio is where we have to go before we can make our nuclear reactor and start getting into antimatter, which we're going to need later on in the pack. So, hey, look at that. It gives us a free self-aware Blaze data model, so we can keep making Blaze stuff forever. And now it brings us to the space plating task for this tier. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's time to move our quantum assembler over here. So I think what I'm going to do is in between this episode and the next episode, I'm going to get us a new floor put in up here, and we're going to bring the quantum assembler here, but put it on the second floor up there. Along with, we're going to start to get into mechanisms reactors. We are going to have to go down this road to make turbines towards the end. We need to get to making nuclear waste so that we can make our polonium and our plutonium and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, we got things that we have to get going. So I kind of started down this quest line here and working on getting our machines assembled. But one thing I realized is we cannot get all the way to processing our nuclear waste here in the isotropic centrifuge until we have ultimate control circuits, and they require cryo-infused gas, which requires cryofuel, which requires the cryo freezer, and we have to go get Glacio stone bricks before we can make those. And, well, you guessed it, Glacio stone comes from Glacio. So that's going to bring it to a wrap here in today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to continue on in this pack with you guys next time. Bye-bye.